Hey there, lovely. If you're a driven and highly ambitious woman who has checked all the boxes, followed all the rules, only to realize you don't actually feel fulfilled or you don't feel like you're living your purpose, then you are absolutely in the right place. My name is Melissa Chavis. I'm an intuitive mindset coach, and I am absolutely obsessed with helping you discover your true purpose, that thing you were put here on this earth to do, so that you can live the most fulfilling and abundant life possible.
Hey there, beautiful. Welcome back to another episode of the Authentic Awakening podcast. Today, I want to talk about something that's been on my mind lately, and honestly, something that I've been living through in real time. I've been putting myself in more and more situations lately that scare the crap out of me. Situations where I've been putting myself out there, feeling really vulnerable, and having to face a lot of my fears. But what I found is that I actually feel more free and alive in my life than I've ever felt before. So, today I just want to talk about the discomfort that inevitably comes with change and how the fear of feeling that discomfort is holding so many women back from getting the opportunity to feel what lives on the other side of that discomfort. 2 years ago, I made the decision to create a new reality for myself. And while it looked really empowering and exciting from the outside, the truth is it was incredibly terrifying. The first thing I had to do was get really, really clear on my why. And what I realized was that the most important thing for me in my life was to be able to create the kind of freedom that allowed me to spend my time the way I wanted to spend it. And the way I wanted to spend my time was being present with my kids while they're still young. I wanted them to have the experience of growing up with a mom who was there for all of the things, both the big things and the small day to day things, too. Ultimately, I wanted a life that felt like it was mine, that I had created intentionally, and not just a life that I felt like I was settling for. But in deciding to make the changes I need to make in order to create that kind of life, there were days that I was so incredibly scared to show up in the way that I needed to show up to make those changes. And I was terrified to be seen in my truth. I didn't have all of the answers, and most of the time, I had no idea what I was even doing. So it felt really vulnerable to put myself out there in that way. And here's the part that we don't even talk about enough. Even before dealing with the discomfort of doing life differently, just the act of admitting that you want things to change, that something about your life isn't working for you, is incredibly hard. The first step to real change is being brave enough to say, I want things to be different. And that's not easy, especially when your life looks totally fine from the outside looking in, maybe even great, or you seem so highly successful to all of those around you. They may think, why would you want to change things? Your life is so great. And we get caught up in that and we get worried about what other people are going to think of us if we open up and say, yeah, things are okay, but I really want this different thing. I really want to make changes in my life because honestly, I don't really like the way that things are. we get really, really caught up in what other people might think or how that might feel to say those things to other people or admit even to ourselves that we want things to be different. We want more in life. And I've talked to so many women and even experienced this myself who feel like it's wrong to want more. They've been told all their lives that they should be grateful for what they have. And we tend to think that being grateful for what we have means also not wanting more. But the truth is, you can have both things. You can be grateful for the life that you get to live today and still want more for yourself. You can still want more in life while being grateful for everything that you do have. So, admitting to yourself and those around you that you want things to change is really the first obstacle or uncomfortable experience that is required when you want to create a new reality for yourself. And because of this, so many women are unknowingly holding their lives at arm's length, not because they don't want more, but because they're afraid of what they might have to feel in order to get there. And this is completely natural and is typically how people initially respond to these kinds of desires and feelings of wanting change because we as humans are generally fearful of feeling negative emotions. And this might initially sound something like, what if I tell people what I want and they think I'm being ridiculous? Those kinds of thoughts come from a place of fear of feeling the negative emotions that you might have to experience in that situation. Or, what if I hire this coach to help me and they can't get me the results I'm after? That comes from a fear that you might have to feel some negative emotions about the situation if you don't achieve your goals. And then something like, what if I try to make these changes and I fail at achieving my goals? And that comes from a fear of negative emotions you might have to feel if you try something and fail at it. But here's the thing, you can't selectively avoid feeling the feelings. So when you shut down the difficult or challenging emotions, you are also blocking your access to the joy and hope and creativity and aliveness that comes on the other side of making it through those challenging times. Because at the end of the day, true freedom isn't the absence of fear, it's the choice to feel the fear and still keep moving forward toward your goals. So, as an example, I held a workshop last weekend here locally. And as I was driving there, I was just reflecting on how incredibly alive I felt, knowing that I was living in full alignment. I was doing the thing that I am truly meant to do in this life. And the amount of joy and freedom I get to feel on a daily basis is something I could have never imagined for myself, even 5 years ago. And I never would have gotten here without facing my fears and putting myself in the scary situations that have been required to get to this point. So, learning how to allow yourself to experience these negative emotions, it is incredibly helpful for you as you continue to move through your life and create changes. For instance, it will help you to rewire your nervous system. It's going to transform the relationships that you have in your life with other people. And ultimately, you'll end up finding this level of inner peace that is beyond anything that you ever thought possible. Every single time I've had to learn how to get myself through the next level of fear in my life, something amazing and beautiful has opened up on the other side of it. So if you're sitting here and you're feeling like you're in this in-between place of wanting more in your life, but feeling afraid of what might have to happen in order to get there, you absolutely are not broken. You're just human, and it's natural to feel fearful about having negative emotions and having to experience challenging situations in your life. It's natural to try and avoid that. But it really all starts with understanding that your next level lives on the other side of what you are currently avoiding. So, a couple of things to think about as you process today's episode and maybe dig a little bit deeper into what's going on for you at this moment. What feelings have you been trying to avoid? Because honestly, we all do it. So even if you're not consciously avoiding anything, we're all avoiding feeling certain feelings in our lives. But I also want you to consider what might be possible if you stopped resisting those feelings and started trusting yourself to actually experience them and move through them. So just take a minute to reflect on that and see what it brings up for you. And if you're ready to explore this more deeply, I invite you to schedule a private mentorship call. This is a space where you and I can discuss whether my one-on-one mentorship might be a good place for you to receive the personalized support you might need to get you the results that you're looking for. So you can click the link here in the show notes to schedule your call, or you can just DM me on Instagram at Melissa Ann Chavis if you have any questions at all. At the end of the day, you don't need to have it all figured out. You just have to be brave enough to feel the next thing. And that is where your true freedom begins. Until next time, my love, enjoy the rest of your week. That's it for another episode of the Authentic Awakening podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you found it helpful, I'd love to hear from you. You can do that by liking and subscribing to my YouTube channel or rating and reviewing the podcast wherever you're listening.